You're not procrastinating, you're not lazy, and you definitely do not need another $2,000 course on marketing. The truth is much more uncomfortable. You are letting your fear of being seen kill the business that you're meant to build. I see it every day. You have the expertise and you have the ambition, but the moment you go to hit publish, your brain treats it like a death rate. You retreat into fake work because being invisible is safe. But safe is where dreams go to die. Today, we change that. Welcome to the rise of the rebel creator. Listen, I know the pain and frustration of being ambitious, but lacking the confidence and the courage to actually act on your dreams and make them a reality. This is something that I have personally struggled with for a long time in my life. As a shy, introverted kid, I grew up to be a shy, introverted grown-up, unable to courageously chase my dreams down. This, however, is the one area in my life where I have managed to make a breakthrough and transform myself and pursue my dreams unapologetically. And how I did that whole process is what I reverse engineered to come up with a framework that I'm going to teach you today that's going to change the way you see creation. This framework forms the core of what it means to live the rebel creator lifestyle. I call this framework the ACT framework. And the first step in my ACT framework is to awaken your inner rebel. This isn't a gentle nudge. This is where you draw a line in the sand and say enough is enough. Especially if you're a shy and introverted creator, a simple decision isn't going to make a difference to you. You need a very radical decision. You need an actual act of rebellion. A few years ago, I had this moment where I had been working on a digital course that I wanted to sell online. And honestly, I put my heart and soul into it. But the moment I had to publish it, I hesitated because I kept telling myself that it wasn't ready, that it wasn't good enough, that people would laugh at me and think that I was stupid. I never did launch it. In fact, I deleted the whole thing. 1 week later, as I was sitting at my desk, I was so mad at myself and disappointed, of course. But I had this moment of clarity where it became very, very clear to me that I was at a crossroads. Either I had to accept that I just didn't have what it takes to build this dream of mine and live with it, which is fine. Or I had to rise up and rebel against all those forces that kept me from actually pursuing my dream unapologetically. Luckily, I'm more stubborn than fearful. So I literally jumped up from my desk and I shouted, enough is enough. I was no longer going to allow my own fears and insecurities and self-doubts to ruin my life and ruin my dreams. That was the moment, looking back, that I awakened my inner rebel. I didn't consciously at that time think, oh, I'm awakening my inner rebel now. No, but from that moment on, I noticed that my life started to turn around, that I started to become more assertive. And when I reverse engineered that process, I realized how valuable that specific moment was. So this is what you need to do too. You can actually physically do it, jump up and shout, enough is enough. Or you can do it in your head, but you need to tell yourself that enough is enough and do it today. Tell yourself that you are a rebel now and that you will act like a rebel. Once you awaken that inner rebel, you realize that the version of you that wants to say small is the enemy. It's time to stop negotiating with that version and start rebelling. But here's what happens the moment you decide to rise up. The inner doubter starts screaming louder. So part 2 of the ACT framework is to challenge the inner doubter. Most people think fear is a sign to stop. Well, I'm telling you that it's just a biological glitch. Your amygdala, that ancient part of your brain, is misfiring. It thinks a dislike on a video is the same as being hunted by a predator. It's trying to keep you safe, but in the modern world, safe is the most dangerous place an entrepreneur can be. When the doubt hits, don't ignore it, interrogate it. Ask, is this a threat to my life or just a threat to my ego? By naming fear as a biological survival mechanism, you strip it of its power. You aren't an anxious person. You're just a person with a brain that's doing its job too well. Confront it, call it out, and then move anyway. Which leads me to the final and the most critical step in the ACT framework. Take radical action. Now, when I say radical, I don't mean you need to burn your life down. I mean you act with defiance. Radical action is hitting record while your hands are shaking. It's posting the unfiltered version of your story even when your inner critic is begging you to edit it into oblivion. You don't become a rebel creator and then start acting. You act until the identity of a rebel creator is forged in the fire of your defiance. Every time you choose action over comfort, you are committing a micro act of rebellion against the version of you that settled for less. That is how you build a brand, a business, and a tribe. Let me tell you, if you've watched this far, you aren't just a viewer. You are a rising rebel creator. You're someone who is done playing small. You're ready to use the ACT framework to build a personal brand and a business that actually means something. But knowing the framework and living it, those are two different things. And this is exactly why I created the Rebel Creator Blueprint. It's a free mini course that includes a workbook that takes you through the whole ACT framework step by step to help ambitious self-doubters move through the friction, bypass their amygdala, and take the radical action required to build something spectacular. If you want to get in on that, the link to the Rebel Creator Blueprint is in the description below. Facebook friends, if you want to get your copy of the Rebel Creator Blueprint, I'll leave a link in the comments below. So, if you're ready to stop hiding and start building, go grab the blueprint, subscribe to this channel, or follow along. It's time for you to rebel up. I'll see you in the next video.